All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we'll be talking about dislikes for the Z Flip. Now, these are pretty mediocre, but there's still something to me. You know, these are things that I dislike about the phone, and everyone will have their own set of dislikes. But the first thing is the slippery body. The build quality on here may be glass, but it's so slippery. And it's just, I'm not worried about the fingerprints. I'm talking about how slippery it is. When I put this in my pocket, it will slide right out if it doesn't have a case on it or some kind of grip. Now, there are skins available right now, so you could probably skin this if you wanted to, if you didn't want to buy a case. But I highly recommend that you purchase the leather case from Samsung. I know it's expensive, but side note, you really should get that thing. You'll love yourself for it. Now, build quality is good on this phone. It's actually really solid. It's got the weight to it. It feels fantastic. However, it's very slippery. And if you don't want to wear a case or you don't want to put a skin on it, you're going to drop this phone and it's going to, you know, get a little nicked up or scratched up or something like that really quickly. So build quality is great, but it's very slippery. Now, another thing that I dislike are the volume rockers. Now, the volume rockers, now I know this is a foldable phone, but the power button is here. To compensate, they probably could have put the volume rockers under the SIM tray or something like that. I don't know if it was possible, if they tried, but to me, even with my big hands, the volume rockers are way too high, and I have to shimmy up sometimes if I want to adjust the volume. I don't adjust the volume very often, but if I did, yeah, I got to shimmy way up and grab up high, and I think that's something that, you know, with the design of a phone, I probably would have tried to put it on the other side, under the SIM tray, or even move the SIM tray down to the bottom. They don't have another slot here. Or put the SIM tray on the top. Try something, you know. I think I would have, you know, give it a little bit more, but this is their first design like this in folding. And while they did fix a lot of things from their first experience on the Galaxy Fold with this phone, I would say definitely, you know, do something with that volume rocker on the next rotation of this phone, because there is going to be another version of this phone for sure. You can rest assured, because the way this thing is selling, yeah, it's going to be another one. Now, here's something else that I know is not going to happen anytime soon. Maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, excuse me, they will figure out a way to get an IP rating on these phones. As many seals and everything as it has, I would think they would, I'm sure they tried something. But since it has a hinge, yeah, and it's going to pretty much basically open in that area. When you start to use it like this, it's going to get dust and debris in there, and you know, you run the risk of getting water in there. So even though it has little brushes inside of it to keep dust out, they still haven't figured out a way to get it an IP rating on this thing. If I could just get a splash resistant like Motorola, I'd be really happy with that. And then obviously, you know, little minor things like no stereo speakers. That's kind of a, you know, dislike to me. Even though this bottom firing speaker is really loud, they're still trying to work on engineering, getting still stereo speakers on here. I would have even enjoyed 2 stereo speakers down, you know, like 2 speakers down there, like on the BlackBerry Passport, but it didn't happen. So, you know, that's kind of another one that I was kind of hoping for. But this bottom firing speaker is really, really loud, so you'll be able to enjoy media consumption and content and music very well, because I've done it. So another one obviously is the high price. I'm not so much worried about the 855 Plus and then not having the 865. It's pretty amazing how people write off the processor that was just, you know, 6-8 months ago, and it's just no good anymore just because there's a new one out. It's like, you know, anything in life, just because some new speakers come out, you don't have to have it in the updated version, because the current one is tried and true and tested. And at the producing or production of this phone, more than likely, that's all there was. The 865 wasn't ready yet. So I'm sure they would have put it in here. But even though they announced it alongside the S20, we don't know how long this one has been in production. So I don't know. Not making excuses for them, but if it would have had the 865, I don't think it would have made a difference, because the 855 Plus is a fantastic processor too. But you know, that high price tag is something that a lot of people are going to continue to complain about, and I think it's a lot of people who not even really interested in the phones. They just want to have something to talk about as far as it being a high price. But every phone today has a high price, and I think if I was going to pick any high price phone right now, it will be this one, and because it's actually offering something new, something fresh, something different. So would you rather have you know, an iPhone 11 Pro Max or something that's really going to be beneficial to you and useful to you? And you know, I just kind of threw that out there. Or you could even say a Pixel 4 XL. This is a pretty big phone here, but you know, what would you rather have? Or if you're going to pay that money for it. If I would have liked if this was 1,000, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't. It was 14. Even, I'm not technically paying the full 14 because I had some other bonus credits and gift cards and stuff that I had gotten from something else. So I went on ahead and I paid the 1,400, but then I'm going to go ahead and apply those to my credit card or whatever. It's anyway, you know, I got it for a good deal. In the end, the final numbers, I had to pay up front, but in the final numbers, I did get it for a good deal. So, but anyway, side note, a lot of people hated, and shout out to Grant S for pointing this out in my other video in the comment section. A lot of people hated on the Xperia 1, the aspect ratio. I loved it, and several people love it. Now, what's the difference with this phone? Someone said, oh, well, Jay, it's not 22 by 9. It's actually 21 by 9 by 9. Okay, yeah, 22 by 9, man. Just see if what it is, a very narrow phone. And I'm surprised that none of the people who hated the Xperia 1's design are saying that now. They're saying this is a boss phone and, you know, this is a great phone. This is a great form factor. Pay attention to that, folks. Be mindful of who you are watching. I'm not trying to tell you to just watch me or just watch Grant S, because he has a channel. Shout out to Grant S on YouTube. Search that if you haven't already. I'm just saying, pay attention to the rotation of the text. Some people are just hype man. They just go with whatever they've been given free, and they just review them. All the reviews are pretty much the same, just about. I like someone who has a negative on a phone every now and then. I don't always have a lot of negatives, but when I have a negative, I'll point it out to you. Other than those small dislikes, and those are small dislikes to me, like I don't even care that it doesn't have a quad HD display. Some people say, if I spend $1,500 on that, it better have this, this, and that. But some people will never even buy a phone like this. They won't even buy a phone that costs $1,000. So those people are great for conversation at best. That's about how I feel about that. So hope you guys enjoyed, man. A few dislikes from me. And a lot of you guys like, oh, Jay, I know you're going to catch and release that. No, man. I actually really enjoy this. Look for some more content. I like the little display isn't even a con to me. It's useful for what it is. I can see which notifications are there. And if I even want to bother looking at them, like that first one is my security camera on the front door. That's my website. And then that's the weather. I don't need to mess with that. Let's go back to the time. And there it is. It's your man, Jay, the folding phone revolution, with the fast fingerprint reader and fast facial recognition. It's coming, folks, and I think we're going to see a ton more folding phones in the future because Samsung got it right. Now, I'm not going to speak on Motorola yet, but we'll see. Maybe I'll compare those in the future for you. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. A few dislikes because there always it's got to be some. Take care, folks.